we're here at the workbench, and what I found was, you know, this conformal coating is on the back, this rubberized waterproof coating, and I'm going to try to get it off with this little brass brush here, just kind of working at it a little bit. Might need some, well, it's taking off a bunch of stuff. Alright, let's see if we can try something a little bit different. Oh, that just comes right off. Alright, well, let's see what we can do here. I might try to scrape at it a little bit more with something different, maybe a little bit softer with the brush. Really all I need are these 5 contacts right here. Let's see if I can show you with something. So it would be this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. This one right here actually looks like it was heating up quite a bit, and so that's kind of suspect to me that something was wrong there, that it was getting too hot. So I'm just gonna, might go around here with a little bit of a flat blade screwdriver around these terminals and get this coating off. I decided to try my soldering iron. I've got it heated up to about 650 degrees. I've got a wet sponge up there on the base. Here's the base that I use. And the soldering iron is an EC, let's see if I can show you that. There's the soldering iron right there. It's an EC 1002. Not sure the vintage of that, but it still works and it's an amazing machine. So I've had that for quite a while, and here's the WSP 80 24 volt 80 watt iron that you can get for it too. So that's a really nice, and I've got a nice wide tip on there. So what I'm doing here, I'm just kind of going through here, and it looks like its stuff is just popping right off around these terminals. So I'm just kind of heating it up a little bit, kind of chiseling away at it. I'm going to clean my iron off every once in a while. Yeah, it looks like it's popping right off there. I got to heat it up anyways, so I already kind of did some damage to that conformal coating, and it looks like I'm doing some damage to the little green stuff. That's not too bad. Just need to get it cleaned off enough for me to get in there and heat those terminals up when I go to pull the relay out. Alright, let's go get the solder sucker and see if we can get, or some of the desoldering braid that I have, and see if we can get some of the solder out of those legs so we can start pulling that relay off the board. Alright, first we're going to start with this solder sucker. And the way that works is you cock it there, you hold it in this hand here, and you put a little heat on your what you want to remove. Let's clean that tip off there a little bit. Get that solder flowing, and then do it like that, and then hopefully you got something. So let's see if we can get a little something right there with it. Definitely got something right there. Let's try it right here. Hopefully you can see all this. I'm going to get the bulk out with this, and then I'm going to come back with that desoldering braid. I'm just holding it on the wide side of each pin and putting a little bit of heat on there. Alright, so this is desoldering braid, or solder wick, whichever you want to call it. It looks like Chemtronics makes this brand. So you can see how it's kind of already used right there on the end. So what I'm going to do is hold it like this up against it, and I'm going to heat it up, and I'm going to push it into those pins like that, and that should absorb any solder that's left in there. Let's get a fresh piece here. If you could see that. You can see it kind of smoking a little bit. That's the resin that's inside of this. Alright, see where I had my iron? It turned kind of silver a little bit. That means it's working. It's just soaking up what it can. Try to get it lined up there real good. Kind of push it up against it like that. Alright, let's see if you can see that. So that pin right there looks like it can kind of move by itself. Looks like I might have a little bit more. No, that's just some of that coating right there. Alright, now let's try to get at this one right here. See if I can get you in a little bit closer this time. Alright, let's see if we can get this side going here a little bit. Might turn up the heat a little bit on this iron. Move it up to 750 or so. It looks like it was kind of struggling a little bit to put enough heat down to get that solder to flow into this wick. There. You can kind of see some of it sucking out of there. See if we can get on this side of it here. Alright, it's coming. Slow but sure, it's coming. Kind of get some clean soldered wick on there and see if I can get some to suck out of there. There you go. See how shiny that is right there? Well, hopefully you can see how shiny that is right there. That's where the wick absorbed all that solder out of there, and you can see, hopefully you can see, I don't know if you can really see that, but right here is kind of a bare spot where that solder used to go right through there. So let's see if we can get this one kind of cleaned out now a little bit. And if your wick gets too long like mine, you can just get a pair of these cutters here and just trim that off and dispose of that. So now we have some clean wick ready to go. So let's try to get this one here. Oh yeah, got some heat on there now, getting it flowing quick. Alright, I felt the pin move there while I had it. Kinda, yeah, that one's definitely loose. That one feels pretty loose. That one's loose. Alright, so let's get these last two right here. Kind of wrap it around there a little bit. Hold it down. Alright, that one's loose. I'm just pushing the pin a little bit with the iron to see if I can get it to move a little bit, and it does. So here's try the last one now. I'm trying to do this real time for you guys because nobody on YouTube was showing this part of it. They were showing it already out. So I'm not sure if they took it to somebody or had it done. And I'm just holding it up against. I'm trying to do it like that so you can see how it works. There it goes. See how that pin's starting to move there a little bit? Let's try it on this side one more time. Alright, that feels like it's moving. Let's see if we can get this thing to wiggle at all. I've zoomed out a little bit so you can kind of see what I'm going to try to do here. Just going to kind of wiggle it. Now, some of that coating is on this side of it, so what I'm going to do is try to excavate some of this junk out so I can get the relay off the board. It doesn't really feel loose yet. Let's see if we can get any wiggle out of these. Yep, that's loose. That feels loose. That is not loose. That is loose. And that is not loose. Alright, oh, that one is loose. Yeah. So let's try to get that last one right there that still feels a little tight. Yeah, definitely loose now. Alright, so let's see if we can wiggle and jiggle this relay off of there. There you go, just like that. Wasn't too bad, was it? So now we've got a little bit of that gunk underneath of there. I'm going to try to clean that out of those holes so I can get my new relay in there. Alright, let's go grab the new relay and get it installed. Got our new relay here, and the orientation should follow and the pattern on the bottom here. So let's take a look here real quick, make sure we're kind of matching everything up apples for apples, and we are, so that's good. I checked the specs on these two and they match up, so that's awesome. And alright, so here's the new relay, old board, and we're just going to push this through the holes, kind of like that. And looks like it fits perfect. I mean, it goes right in there without any trouble at all. And so let's go ahead, and I'm just going to use this underneath of here to kind of hold it up for me. So in fact, I'll do it like this so you can see, just like that. So I've got some solder here, extra solder. Yep, here we go. This is a flux core solder, and so what we're going to do is we're going to start by tinning. We're going to first turn the temperature down a little bit to 650 or so, maybe 700. We're going to clean our iron off so that it's nice and clean. So you can see it right there. It's nice and kind of shiny a little bit. Hopefully you can see that. Well, it kind of browned back up already, but there you go. Shiny. So we're just going to put a little bit of solder on the tip of that, and we're going to hold it down against there and just flow a little bit in. Hold it on there for a second and let it go. Doesn't look like I got quite enough, so I'm just going to flow a little bit more. Let me show you what that looks like now that it'll hold itself in there. I wish you could see this a little bit better. You can, I guess. So right there. So what I did is I flowed solder into right underneath my fingernail right there, and it looks like a little mountain with a post sticking out of it. That's about perfect. Oh, let's see here. Yeah, it fell down through there. So all right, so here's a mistake, you know, commonly made. I heated up this relay here from the back side with no support under it, and you can see it kind of lifted off of the board there a little bit. So all I'm going to do, since I only have one pin heated up, heat that back up and shove it back through there. That looks perfect. So if you get a little flag kind of hanging off there, hopefully you can see that like I do. I'm just going to trim it off with these flush cutters, and that way it'll be not making a bridge or anything. All right, so let's get these other ones in there and going. Clean your tip off again. Beautiful. And we're going to just tin the end of it there and then flow a little bit of solder onto the board, just like that. Clean that off again, get some of that junk off, and again, hopefully you can see all that. Yep. And then just going to tin the end and flow. And I held it on there for just a second because it looked like that one, let's see, well, that one still has a nice little hump going on there, so that's good. And looks like it's got a good connection all the way around. So next two are these two right here. Let's get those going. Just like that. And the last one does not want to take to the board. Alright, probably because there's something dirty on there. Let's make sure we got that cleaned off. Looks like we got it that time. Try to make it so you can see. There it goes. So you can kind of hold the iron on there for a second and kind of feel it or watch it when it just takes off. You'll see it just kind of just flow. It'll just flow like water. And what I like to do is go back through and visually look at any connections that might be funny and kind of double check everything. With this coating on here, it's just so dirty, and the flux, I can just see the flux kind of bubbling up around everything. It's kind of weird, but that's what it should look like there, nice and clean. This is a little messed up, but I think it's going to be okay. All this is just one common piece, and then these are through hole, and they're not connected to this, but this is the center pin is connected to this large area here, and this is not connected to the other large area. So I think we're good. So let's go ahead and get this back together. I'm going to need to use some bolts, and things to try to get this bolted back into that old housing.